Well, here we are. So anyone who knows me is familiar with my view about processes and systems, and it's one of the reasons that I finally founded Tripod Coaching and Consulting. So for me, it's all about planning for the what if. When I met Lisa Crilley Mallis years ago through NAWBO, that's the National Association of Women Business Owners, we instantly bonded over our love of planning. So let me introduce her, and don't fault me for reading her bio because she's got a lot of experience and I don't want to get anything wrong, but I'll include links to her website, her LinkedIn profile, and Facebook group in the video description. So let's get started here. Lisa Crilley Mallis is the owner of Impactive Strategies. She is a seasoned expert helping service-based businesses streamline their process and focus for greater time freedom. With a background in education and over a decade of entrepreneurial experience, Lisa understands the challenges of balancing ambition with well-being. Through personalized solutions and real-world strategies, Lisa empowers her clients to work less, achieve more, and rediscover their joy in their work. It's time to stop surviving and start thriving. And now you know why I read that, because that's a lot of information. So welcome, Lisa. And before we start, is there anything about you that I missed in this introduction?
Thank you for having me, and absolutely not. You hit it all. I'm so happy to be here with you, Diana. I'm so happy for NAWBO, because without NAWBO, we would not have met.
That is 100% true. And if you don't know about NAWBO and you're a women business owner, shoot me a message and I'll get you some more info about it. So let's dive right in. You work with businesses that have more work than time. So what does that exactly mean?
So when I think about the clients that I best serve, they're busy all the time. And no matter what happens by the end of the day, they just think back and they're like, I didn't have enough time to be strategic. I didn't have enough time to look at the big picture or to work on my business development. They'll say a lot of things like, I'll get back and fix that later when things slow down. Or,
yeah,
right? Like, we have this process is not working as smooth as I wanted to, but I'm going to stick a Band-Aid on it now. And when things slow down, I can get back and make it better. Their employees are taking work home to get done. The business owner is taking work home. They're just stuck in that day to day because they have more work to get done, which as a business owner, you want a lot of work.
Yeah.
But they have more work than they can get done in the day. And so I always say the people that I best serve have more work than time.
So you think that they get this way because they feel like if they're not busy, they're not succeeding?
I think that's a piece of it. When I look at it, typically it falls into three buckets. One, they've always been that way. Like, typically I work with service-based business owners. They started wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
And then when they first added their first person, they added out of desperation because they just couldn't possibly do anymore. And they added that first person, then they added the next person, and they never quite got ahead of it. And so they've just always been too busy, more work than time. So like that's one bucket of people that I've seen. Another one is they did get ahead of it. They were in a place where they're like, okay, things feel right. We're working on all cylinders. Everything's great. And then they launched a new product or they landed a really big client. And all of a sudden, things got busier and it jumped up. And so typically that's a shorter term until they can figure out how to get their processes to speed up to whatever that new influx is.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about processes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And, because you and I will say, your strategies and your processes got you this far. Now, what's the next level look like? And then that third bucket of clients that I work with who have more work than time is because they've lost a key person. Either someone's out on maternity leave.
Mhm.
One of my clients had someone who was deployed for a year. And so they have 4 people now who are doing the work of 6. And so, they're not necessarily going to hire to fill that role because they're coming back. But in the meantime, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I call those the oh shit moments. And that's one of the things that we talk about is, how solely focusing on revenue may be killing your business. But it's also the planning for the what if. What if somebody goes out on military deployment? What if somebody goes out on military leave? What if somebody moves? Those are all the planning for the what if. But it really sounds like people think that if they work really hard, then they'll generate enough revenue and that will somehow magically free up time. So, what are some of the things that people can do if they find themselves in this spot with more work than they have time?
And, and it's not necessarily generating the revenue that's going to fix it. Because typically you're in that place, you're generating the revenue. And it's not fixing it. And so, a couple of things that I think about, you've got to take time to think. And Dinah, I love baseball. And one of the phrases I hear all the time in baseball, and they use this as a compliment, they'll say about a player, they'll say, he doesn't let the game speed up on him. And what they mean by that is in the big moments, they can slow down and really see what's happening and make the best choices. And business owners need to be able to do that. They need to be able to say, you know what, we are flying by the seat of our pants right now. And we are putting band-aids on things and we are making decisions without data. And we are forging ahead and we are just trying to keep up and it's got to stop.
Yeah.
And so the first thing is just create a block of time. And right now, many people are listening to this thinking it is not that easy. There's no way. Like the last time we had a strategic planning meeting, we spent the whole meeting just trying to make sure we weren't dropping any balls.
Yeah.
Just you have to block the time and sit there and think. So that's the first thing. You
Mhm.
just need to slow down and take a breath and think because busyness doesn't equal business.
Right. Right. 100%. Can you say it again for the people in the back?
Yes, busyness does not equal business.
Yeah.
And so you have to stop and think. So that's your first thing.
Mhm.
But then after you've looked and you've evaluated, here's where we are, here's what we need, then you just need to take a look at your resources and make sure that you're leveraging your resources in the best way, regardless of which bucket of those are you too busy to, more work than time, whether it's because you've gotten more business recently or you're down key people or you've always been busy, you have a great team.
Mhm.
You are not using them to their best. I can guarantee that you can leverage your resources better. And so you need to look at, are you leveraging your resources in the best way that you can?
Yeah. It's funny. My running coach back when I was running and doing triathlons, he used to say, you have to slow down in order to run fast.
Slow down,
You
speed up.
don't just go out there and, decide that you're going to run a 50-yard dash in 2 seconds, which is theoretically impossible, but we're just not going to deal with the science behind that. But it's a good point that you make. But there's probably people who are watching right now who are saying, "Oh, well, this doesn't really apply to me because I'm a solopreneur. I don't have employees." So if you're a solopreneur or a business owner who has employees, is there a difference in how they are busy?
Yes, and so a couple things to think about. So, like when we talk about, are you best leveraging your employees? Maybe you are your only employee.
Mhm.
And so look at whether it's just you, which hello, we all started out just you.
Right? Me, myself,
Or
and I, the first 3 employees of my business.
right, exactly. Or other ones, look in a couple areas. One, are you wasting a lot of time learning skills that you could outsource?
Mhm.
So I have a client who has an awesome employee. And if you're a solo, this could be you. It was me when I first started. Working, would go home and would be up until 11 o'clock at night trying to learn a skill that was in her job description
Mhm.
and banging her head against the wall. And then she'd come in and she would be tired and a little crabby because she's trying to do this thing that she's not good at, that they could outsource for very little money. If you're a solo and you're banging your head against the wall to learn this skill, look and see how much it would be to outsource that. We
Mhm.
just had the same challenge right here with one of my VAs. She's like, I can fix this thing on our website. I know I can. I know I can. I have a website guy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He fixed it in like 3 minutes. She spent hours because she was positive. And she can now because he did a little loom for us. We popped it in there. She can fix it anytime she wants. So I think that's one of the places to look at is are how much time are you wasting trying to learn skills that you can outsource?
Yeah.
Another one is happiness. Right, Diana, when you're happy, how's your work product compared to when you're not happy?
No, it's so much easier. I mean, you have more energy, and you have this sense of accomplishment versus, I need chocolate and I don't have enough in the house, so I need to go to 7-Eleven and buy everything they have on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're doing things that you're really good at and you love to do, you're happier. And
Yeah.
so when you look at your employees and we're looking at let's leverage our employees, are they doing things they love to do and that they're really good at?
Mm.
Or are they right person, wrong seat?
That part. That part. I think that's one of the things that people run into is that they like somebody and they want to give them a chance. And instead of it moving that individual forward, everybody's frustrated. So it's counterproductive because it's counterintuitive.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be right person, wrong seat. It could be right person, one tiny, tiny piece wrong. So
Mhm.
one of my clients, they're CPA, and they have two people who do similar jobs. And one person hated one part of her job, and another person hated one part of her job.
Mhm.
Yet they both loved. All they had to do was switch it because they loved what the other person had. They just never talked about it. And as soon as they switched it, they were fine. But yet, every month, they each had to do that one thing they each hated. And
Mhm.
it just happened to be one day they had started to have that conversation. And then they were like, we started to have this, talk about zone of genius. And then it came up in the workshop. And then all of a sudden, they're like, we could switch these. They had the same skill sets, easy flop,
Mhm.
happier, work, fewer mistakes, the whole bit. And so when we're talking about leveraging your employees, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah, but it's also leveraging yourself. When Molly and I started Design to Delivery, my background was proposals, marketing communications, public relations, all that, business development. And hers was contracts, proposals, pricing. We started the business, and she says, I really think I want to do this marketing and BD stuff instead of this other ones. What do you think? And I was like, oh my God, thank you, because I am so tired of doing this other thing. So we switched when we started the business, and it turns out that we maximize the strengths. I'm the process person, I'm the minutia person. I like that. I live there. and she's really good at going out, meeting with customers and business development and everything. And because of it, the business thrived. But if we had not switched, I'm not sure that D2D would have been as successful as it is. So 100%, you hit the nail on the head. But I guess that's about listening to what your employees are saying to you.
Mhm. Or knowing the right questions to ask
That part too. Yeah.
and being able to create an environment where they're okay sharing it. Because, like, if in my job description says I have to be able to do X, Y, Z, and you say to me, hey, how comfortable are you with Y? Am I going to be okay saying to you, not very? You
Hmm.
employ me. Am I going to be able to admit I'm not very good at that?
Yeah.
It can get tricky.
But I guess it's practicing, because I think one of the things that business owners, business leaders need to cultivate is this environment of two-way communication. Because if there's an environment of fear, then the employees won't come to you and say, hey, I really love my job. I just don't think I'm really good at this part, and I'd like to try to do this. When you're doing that, and that's carving out that time to meet with them. You're saying, I'm so busy, I have no time. But if you carve out that time, then look, sounds like productivity will go up because the employee's
Absolutely.
happier.
Absolutely. Because they're people
Hmm.
and they're not just cogs that that you're like, what's the first thing that goes when you're busy? Having conversations
Yeah.
because you're just trying to keep things moving. Yet the conversations is where you can get things to move easier and better.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. We always say that our employees are not social security numbers and the amount of revenue that they bring in. They're people. They have lives, they have families, they have goals. And if you treat them like numbers, they will act like numbers. And the thing about
Mhm.
numbers is they can go up and they can go down.
Yep.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you talk about how employees are very important into this whole thing about being busy and having more time, more work than time. And I think that's a great segue into your zone of genius, which I have been very, very excited to hear about and to share, which is going to be held on August 20th. So can you talk more about what it is, who should attend, where can people can register for it?
Absolutely. So Zone of Genius is all about what are you really good at? What do you love to do and what moves a business forward? And how do you figure out what yours is? And if you have employees, how do you figure out what theirs is? Because when we're working in our zone of genius and when they're working in your zone of genius, as we've just talked about, it'll move your business forward. Your revenue will go up. People are happier. Like all of those things happen. So 90-minute workshop. It's a real workshop. So, how sometimes people will be like, it's a workshop. And then you're on there and you get off and you have all these things to do and you never had any time to do them. And you're like, I'll get to that later. Templates, I will say to you, take this sentence, text this thing, do this thing. We are waiting right now while you do this thing. And so when you walk off, you'll have your zone of genius nailed. You'll figure out exactly how to find the zone of genius of your employees if you have them. So earlier when I said, what if they're afraid or they don't feel comfortable saying to you, I'm not really comfortable in this skill. We're going to talk about how to overcome that in a way that makes it really easy for them. So it's August 20th from 11 to 12:30 Eastern. We do have the replay. You'll want to be on live because then we can help fine tune. We can get through all the questions. Uh, But whether you think you know yours, jump on because you can really get it even tighter. If you've never heard of this concept, get on. If you've heard me speak of this before, I have some new stuff that you've never seen.
I love it.
So you want to see this, but I'm making it super, super easy this time. Like, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, boom, here's your zone of genius.
I love that. And, I have to say, me being the planning and organizing expert and on and on, I attended Lisa's workshops and I've come away with things. I mean, I teach people how to do things, how to be organized, how to do processes, but there's a lot of takeaways that you get because sometimes the way you're doing it may work, but is it the best way? Is it the most efficient way? So even if you think, oh, I have this under control, I don't even know why I spent my time watching this, da 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 da. Trust me. You can either keep doing what you're doing and do it the hard way, or maybe the less efficient way, or you can attend and find out how you can make things better. I mean, your choice, your choice. But I'm going to say this, if you are sitting here and go, you know what, I'm going to take a look at it. If you don't do that now, I can promise you, you probably won't because you will get busy with something else and you'll forget. So make sure that you go down into the video description because I'm going to include links. It's going to have, like I said, her LinkedIn profile, her Facebook group, and also a link to register. But you can always learn something new. And this is the lady that will make your life much, much easier. Trust me. Trust me. So Lisa, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
I
you
wish
so
we
much.
lived closer so we could hang out more in person
I
because whenever we see each other, we try to spend some time and then, there's not much time. We're busy at all these events. But I just have to say, I just think the world of you. I think you are absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to point out again, if you're watching, even if you can't attend, watch the replay. And if you can't attend her in-person events because you're not local to where she is or where she's speaking, please make sure you connect with her and join her mailing list. She has lots of gems that she includes in it and also information about her upcoming events. So with that, make sure you hit the thumbs up for this video and subscribe to this channel. We have lots of great content in the works and you will not want to miss it. So bye for now.
Thank you.